Hey, for another episode of BS Busters. Another episode of BS Busters, and we got some stuff to say because this has been a very interesting week. The Pokemon Company came out with something that I don't think anyone gave a shit about. At least most hardcore Pokemon fans didn't give a shit about. But before we go any further, let's have everyone introduce themselves, starting with the lady first.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. This is July Eli Moonstar. Welcome you to the BS Busters and Elite podcast. And today, why did they have to announce one single game like that alone? And they could put it with the others. Oh, brother.
That's a good question, but we'll cover that during the cast. Kenoshi?
That's Kenoshi Abominito, here to say that, who wanted this again?
No one. Answer is no one wanted it. No one wanted this. No one was begging for this.
And of course, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Red Fox of the BS Busters podcast, owner and proprietor.
That's right. And so let's get into it let's get into it right now. So basically, I mean, we got a lot of stuff going on here. We got a lot of stuff going on here, and there's nothing else we can really say except Pokemon Company, you done fucked up. Yet again.
Doubly.
Yet again. Yeah, you done fucked up yet again, because basically the big thing that the Pokemon Company did is that they came out with Pokemon Unite, which is kind of like a MOBA game. Now here's the thing, to be honest with you, I have nothing against them announcing this game, because there's been tons of Pokemon spin-offs that I didn't give a shit about. Okay? That's not my issue. My issue is that they basically treated this like this was an announcement of a new mainline Pokemon game. Like this was something that the mainline fans will want, and this is like a casual game. It's like they learned nothing from Blizzard with Diablo Immortal. They learned not a damn thing.
This is Pokemon's do you guys not have phones moment.
Basically, yeah.
And and this is the thing, I'm not into MOBAs myself. I mean, seriously, it looks so complex to me. But also because of one key group. And Red Fox probably could tell you right off the bat who that group is.
What, the Pokemon fanboys who will take anything? Like, literally, the Pokemon Company is shit in a box and put the next Pokemon game on it, like Pokemon Brown, and they'd buy it.
Oh, we could go there, but I mean the other company, 10.
Oh, Tencent? I mean...
Yep.
I don't really care about Tencent.
I say you should if you value your information.
No, the reason I don't care about Tencent is because, I mean, here's the way it works, okay? In China, if you want to do business in China, you have to,
You have to bow down to them.
No, you have to partner with a Chinese company. So, you know, if you're Nintendo or Sony or Microsoft or any company that wants to get in there, you have to partner, and once your product in that market, you have to partner up with a Chinese company so that they get some of the money, so that the revenue is funneled into the country. So, like, I mean, you know, that's just business. You know, that's, so if, you know, the Pokemon company's like, hey, we want to bring Pokemon Unite. Actually, I'm going to call it Pokemon Immortal from now on, like Blizzard Immortal, like Diablo Immortal. If you want to play this shit in the Chinese market, you got to partner up with a Chinese company. So, I mean, that's the part. It's kind of like if you open up if you want to do business, if you want to open up a factory or a large scale business in a part of the country here in America, they're like, well, you got to hire these many people, like locals. It's just, you know, that's the price of doing business. Now, do I trust Tencent? Fuck no, because it's a Chinese company, and I don't trust Chinese companies. But you know, That's business, baby.
Yeah. Sometimes business is more cutthroat than pirates on the water.
It's about the same. But I get what you're saying. Kenosha, you have any thoughts on this?
Like I said, I'm not a big Pokemon fan. I haven't been a big Pokemon fan for
Years.
a while.
Mm-hmm.
For years. I grew out of Pokemon again when I was a kid. I it's moved on to other stuff. I mean, it doesn't really matter what they decide to do with their beloved franchise.
All right.
Too bad for the people who are fans. You're not getting what they want.
Yeah.
They're
Well,
getting what they ask for.
Well, I mean, that's my only thing is that, like, okay, like I said, it's not that they came out with this game. It's that they had this big announcement like it was a really fucking big deal. It's like, you don't seem to realize, like, Japan's business culture is very different than here in America. Like, I remember watching this documentary about how Street Fighter V, how it was a debacle, and how, like, Capcom USA tried to tell them, please don't put this on this DLC for this game. Or, well, no, it's Street Fighter Cross Tekken. Like, please don't put this DLC on disc. Please don't do this. And they were like, well, how are they going to know? It's like, as soon as this thing hits the Xbox, they're going to crack the code on the disc and see what's coming down the pipeline. They're like, oh, that'd be illegal. The fact that Japan thinks like that, like, that people aren't going to break the law. Yeah, they're going to break the fucking law, okay?
Yeah. If there's one law that's, ignored, it seems like it's, any, cracking codes and whatnot. I mean, they don't, for the most part, they don't come into your house.
No.
They don't, and snatch you up and put you in jail for.
And I'll tell you the reason why. Because basically, copyright laws in America are, like, all over the world, they're bullshit. Because I mean, basically, the reason that the IBM compatible PCs exist is because IBM was like, we don't have to copyright our code because no one's ever going to be able to crack it and figure out how to reverse engineer this shit. Yeah. And this was back in the 80s, all right? So, I mean, the point...
It's hilarious that people and companies are like, oh, nobody can break our code. Our code is impenetrable.
People will find a way.
I was about to saying it's impenetrable is just asking for something to be shoved into a hole.
All the hackers are like, well, hold my beer.
This wasn't even hackers. These are people, because people forget, back in the day, IBM was the premier business PC. Like, if you had a business and you needed a computer, you were probably going to either get an IBM or a Mac. That was it, okay?
Yeah.
And basically, and here's the thing. IBM and Mac were really fucking expensive. It was like, well, I got to sell my firstborn child to get this PC for my computer, for my business.
I'm sure you made payments on the computer. I'm sure they didn't just buy the computer.
No, that was for people who wanted a home computer. They would get, they'd get payments. It's like, I put it, give it here, give it here. No, if you owned a business, you were going to just get that shit wholesale. So, I mean, my point being is this, okay? So companies like Compaq, yes, they created the first IBM portable, or IBM compatible. They basically reverse engineered the code. And basically, like, they hacked the OS, the kernel, in order so that they could get their parts to work to use the OS. I think it was OS 1 at the time. And that's why, even today, technically speaking, on any PC, any personal computer that's using that architecture is backwards compatible with old PC shit, because that's the wonderful thing about PC. It's all backwards compatible. Data-wise.
And kids, back in the old days, you didn't have a nice graphical interface. Yeah, everything was done through text.
Yeah, you had to use commands. So basically, you had to know basic coding in order for you to use your computer. Thank God we don't have to do that anymore because fuck, that's the Linux universe of things. Yeah, you should be a computer. Look, if I wanted to be a fucking computer programmer, I would have went to school for that shit. But that's neither here nor there. So basically, my point being is this. People are going to do what they want to do. I don't really give a shit about Pokemon Unite. I'm not even upset that they made the game. I'm upset that they had this big announcement like it was a big deal. Now, I know for the Pokemon Company, it kind of is a big deal, but for other for Pokemon gamers, whatever.
I was gonna say, for gamers like me that is able to be flexible with certain game types, that kind of just sucks.
Yeah.
And not the kind of stuff that you want to have.
Yeah, so that brings me to our other big story, which is the New Game Plus Expo.
Let me guess, that sucked harder.
It's okay. I mean, it wasn't great, but it was okay.
I had to laugh hearing that. What were the highlights?
Okay, so here are the announcements for New Game Plus. I'm using multiple windows because like some of these are people's ideas of what they thought it was going to be, and some of it. Okay, so here are some of the big news that came out of New Game Plus. Okay, so Trails of Cold Steel 4 is getting a 2021 Switch release, which means it's coming out this year for PS4. Fallen Legion Revenants, the sequel to 2018's Fallen Legion Rise to Glory, is getting ported over to the Switch. Actually, I'm gonna get off the Switch thing because I don't want to make it seem like it's only shit that's.
As in, if it's coming to the Switch, then that's a good thing. But all these are
a bunch of JRPGs.
Well, I mean, New Game Plus Expo is primarily Japanese oriented, and Japan loves their RPGs. Right? Yeah. Like they really fucking love RPGs in Japan. Like I love RPGs, but Japan, like they make RPGs out of shit where I'm like, okay, this is too much. Even for me, this is too much RPG.
They got weird RPGs.
Yeah, I mean, like Japan makes RPGs where they're like, okay, here's an RPG with monster girls, and we have a mini game that you play with the monster girls where you basically can tickle parts of their body and take off articles of clothing, to where you don't see everything, but it looks like the way they react could be misconstrued as them having an energetic reaction.
Are they making a game about it? Are they making a game based off of interspecies?
They've already done that. They've already done that. They've already done that. It's already been done. It's already been done. It's you're talking like that's a taboo. It's already been done. It's already been done.
I just think that the whole thing's kind of funny with Funimation stopping production of that show.
What, Beastars?
No, Interspecies. You know that show about the
Interspecies reviewers.
Interspecies reviewers or whatever.
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't watch a lot of anime these days.
Let's just say porn houses are getting reviewed by at least 4 people.
Yeah, the thing is, I just don't watch a lot of anime these days, so I don't have the same type of. Everyone's like, "Oh, can you believe that?" I'm like, I don't know why I should be angry or upset by this.
This is probably the reason why 2 of us are anime fans in a sense. So
I mean,
I'll just say that is the weirdest one to me.
I'm not gonna say I'm not an anime fan. It's just I have a cutoff. Like my cutoff is like. I'm always about 3 years behind.
Yeah, I try to I stay behind on anime, so if I do get into an anime, I can binge watch it.
Yeah, it works for me because I can always like, oh man, they have like 3 seasons of this, or if it's something that was a one and done and I'm really interested in the project, I can go look at the manga it's based off of and really get into it. Like I hate getting I remember getting really into Log Horizon, right? And I only had 2 seasons. And like, here's the thing. The second season, like, ended on this huge fucking cliffhanger. I'm like, come on, man. I hate shit like that. But anyway, as I was saying, so yeah, But anyway, let's get into the big game coming out of New Games Plus Expo is East 9 Monstrum Nox. It's
another East games. They make about 15 of those a year.
Well, I mean, it's been 33 years since it came out, so I am slightly older than this franchise. It's old enough to have kids and have a career, not a job. So basically, East 9, Monstrum Nox, the big thing about this game is that apparently there's more verticality going on in the game. Like, you can basically, like, use Adolf's little special ability. That's the main, Adolf, yeah, Adolf? Yeah, I think that's the main character's name. You can use his new affliction in this game, where he's, like, fused with a monster, he's got, like, a beast monster form. He can use that ability to, like, grapple onto points in a level and, like, go to a higher level, some shit like that. So there you go. It's they're up to 9 now. So it's an action RPG. If you're really into it, good for you. Next we have Harvest Moon One World.
Sounds good.
No. It looks like shit. I'm just telling you.
Oh,
It looks.
Hey, reason why I was wordless. I wasn't sure how to describe it.
It looks like shit. Like, literally, I mean, it doesn't look as bad as that other Harvest Moon game that I mentioned 2 podcasts ago that looked like a mobile game from Natsume. Like, basically, like, here's what happened, okay? Natsume contracted out their Harvest Moon games for, like, from, like, the 6th gen up to, like, the 8th gen to this company. And halfway through the 8th gen, the contract ran out and Natsume didn't renew. So basically, the people who were making Harvest Moon called it Circle of Seasons, and those games are more Harvest Moon than the Harvest Moon now, which just feels cheap and lazy. Which is sad because Natsume, like, I'm a Harvest Moon fan, so to see, one of my favorite franchises turned into shit is not good. But the new Harvest Moon looks better than the cheap-ass one they had, before. It still doesn't look great. I'm not going to say it's the best shit ever, but, it is what it is.
Yeah, it's not. I feel sorry for you then, Red. This franchise is shot.
I mean, there's always Circle of Seasons. Next, we have Bloodstained.
So what's next on the menu?
We have Bloodstained Curse of the Moon 2.
Wait, you mean that prequel that came before the?
Yeah, they're making a sequel to that game, and it's from NT Creates.
That is both good and scary at the same time. Good because that means another sweet game, but worrying because I was remembering Indie Creates has a mixed record.
You are correct. But don't get mad because NT Creates was bought out by Level 5. So, like, really, it's just a front so that they can put out games.
What bad games did they make?
NT Creates, have you forgotten Mighty Number 9?
Oh.
And Yaiba,
Yaiba. Reason why I said that is a mixed record.
And then 2 games that never came out, like KO King of Pirates.
They should just stick to 8-bit games. They seem to be okay at doing that.
Well, I think it's being published by NT Creates, but I think that it's no, I'm sorry. NT Creates is the company that that they used to be the part of Capcom that made Mega Man Zero and shit like that.
Yeah.
And
That's kind of weird.
that Mighty Gunvolt. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's NC Crazy. Yeah, they're good. They're good.
Yeah. Yeah, they made the 8-bit version of Mighty Number 9 because, well, the company doesn't know how to make video games.
Let's not forget that Concept ran out of money halfway through that game, and Inticrate still got a product out the door, even though people were working for no money. Like that. I mean, look, listen. If someone said, "Hey, you got to crunch code and we can't pay you," I'd be like, "Fuck you, get out of my face." And so,
I was about to say, I thought you go into a swearing song with that kind of line.
no, because I'm not getting paid to curse at them. Okay, cursing. Me going on a cursing tirade would be if I had a $5,000 catering contract and someone's like, "We can't pay you all your money after you delivered all this food." Okay, that is a curse you moment because I did the work. But if you can't even pay me and you want me to do a whole bunch of work, I haven't done shit yet, and yet, I haven't expended any energy or effort. So I'm not going to curse you out because that would take more effort. Why waste my energy cursing you out?
I thought you at least I thought you'd go into a cursing song when hearing how much bad stuff it is. Not that, I mean, I know. I mean, if anything, you do that after payment if it's a job. But I thought since it's something that's close to you or something that you recognize on the spot, I thought you at least get into that.
No, if you pay me my money, I don't care what you want me to do, as long as you pay me my money. Now, if you aren't paying me my money, then we got a problem. Next little bit of news: Fairy Tail PV2. I don't know what the PV2 stands for, but basically they're making another Fairy Tail action RPG game. Basically, if you ever played those One Piece action RPG
I remember what you're talking
Warrior
about.
games. It's basically like that, except it's Fairy Tail. Even though Fairy Tail and One Piece use a lot of the same, have similar art styles. I mean, aren't they made by the same person?
Close.
Or is Fairy Tail? No, Fairy Tail and
One Piece.
No. There was the guy who did that thing with who did that manga. Yeah, Rave Master. The Rave Master guy is the same guy who does Fairy Tail. So basically, and surprisingly enough, this is being made, or not surprisingly enough, it's being made by Koei Tecmo. So you know what you're going to get. You're going to be running around using the same 4 or 5 combinations over and over again, getting experience, leveling up.
It's going to be kind of like the Three Kingdoms games.
Yeah, those Warrior games, except
next to Naruto, it's been one of the most popular animes to hate.
I mean, Naruto. The reason people get mad about Naruto is that Naruto had so much promise and they fucked it up.
I was gonna say, I thought you would go after the filler.
No, because every anime has filler.
I mean, the amount of filler that they have.
Actually did add to the world.
Yeah.
A lot of it didn't, but there was definitely some that was,
like,
pretty decent.
The reason people get mad at Fairy Tail is because Fairy Tail, the Fairy Tail is kind of going up against One Piece, and One Piece, I will give One Piece credit for this. Even their filler episodes and filler chapters are pretty good. There's character development, and every single character in One Piece has had a chance to shine. There are no Yamchas or Piccolos in One Piece.
I'm sorry, I couldn't help but laugh when you said Yamcha.
Yeah, because people forget Yamcha was really badass in the original series, and then he turned to a scrubbed character in Dragon Ball Z. And then Dragon Ball GT, he was even more of a scrub character.
That's what I was about to say. That Yamcha turned from woe to oh.
Here's how shitty they treated Yamcha. A fan of Dragon Ball who is really good at emulating Akira Toriyama's early work when his skills were at their best has basically made a spin-off about how Yamcha becomes really overpowered and kicks everyone's ass. That's right now it's more popular than Dragon Ball in Japan.
I was about to say Dragon Ball.
The series.
Dragon Ball Super.
No, it's more popular than the series of Dragon Ball, or at least if not more popular, it's like it's got enough of a fan base that it actually is doing something. Like, think about that. Like, which only proves the point that I made years ago. Dragon Ball, the series went downhill when they introduced Super Saiyans. Super Saiyans broke that franchise. But back to Fairy Tail. What?
So and they didn't create a complementary super form for humans.
No, I mean they kind of had Awakened, which they kind of did with Krillin, when they during the Namek saga. But it just it's like Super Saiyans broke it because it's like, oh, we don't need to come up with complex stories or have character development. We'll just have Goku get a higher form. That's it. Or we'll have Gohan use his rage move. I mean, it basically led to lazy storytelling.
Gohan, as cool as Gohan's power up was, he didn't really.
Yeah, and then they didn't even capitalize on it by the fourth saga. So even there, it's just kind of shitty. So anyway, keeping it moving.
I was about to say, what's next on the menu?
Yeah, we got Guilty Gear Strive, which is early development because they showed some animation and it looked like shit. But then they showed the fighting and it looked awesome. So it looked like Guilty Gear.
I'll just say, they are, in short, they're still putting it under the polisher. And they're going to need a lot to polish.
I mean, they're trying to animate. Like, really, I just wish Arc System Works would go back to just 2D cell animation instead of trying to do a fusion between 2D and 3D because it just doesn't. But that's my own personal opinion.
Like when they do, I get what you're saying. When they do like the movie stuff, it looks really.
Yeah, it looks off because it's like a 3D background with a cell shaded character. But like when it's done well, like Dragon Quest VIII had cell animation that looked really good because you had stylized characters. These characters aren't quite as stylized. It's like you're playing an anime. And Guilty Gear always kind of had that anime look to it, but this is like kind of like watercolors going on. It's kind of weird. But anyway, like I said. The animation in the beginning of this video looked kind of weird, but god damn it, the actual fighting looked awesome as hell.
Now that I think about it, it reminded me of the game that's of Dragon Ball right now, Dragon Ball Z Fighters.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I'm glad everyone's doing
3D, but some things don't need 3D.
3D, but the characters are 2D cell animated. I mean, they're 3D characters, but their cells are cell animated, which I like. And Guilty Gear Strive looks awesome. It's coming to PS4, which means it'll probably hit Steam at some point. Since I have a PS4, I'll probably get it.
I'm getting a PS4 soon, so.
It's Guilty Gear. I mean, come on, man. It's Guilty. Like, here's the thing. Guilty Gear, even when they kind of tried to go all 3D, Guilty Gear is still, in terms of a 2D fighter, is still head and shoulders above Street Fighter. Because Street Fighter these days is shit. And I stand by that statement.
The only thing that I could complain about Guilty Gear is the story.
No, look. It's
kind of a mess.
The only story you have to know about Guilty Gear is this, okay? The world ended and it was saved by some ultra powerful superhuman being. That superhuman being was Soul Bad Guy. Even though his name sounds like he's an evil villain, he's actually he's basically the good guy of the entire story. But here's the problem: he's super powerful and has all these abilities, but they're locked away, and most of the time he doesn't use them. And all these governments, in order to prevent this apocalyptic event from happening again, created these superhuman warriors called Gears. And that's where Guilty Gear comes from. And basically, like, but here's the thing: all of them are fucking crazy, and they fight each other out to determine who's the strongest. So that's your story. You know, that's
When you explain it like that, it makes Blaze Blue look like It makes Blaze Blue
the thing
look like
about
Urena, calculus.
the thing about fighting games is the overall story is a mess. The only reason a fighting game story exists is to see those characters interact with each other.
Yeah, I mean, and look, listen.
The Blaze Blue story.
And here's the
Blaze
thing.
Blue story is an absolute mess.
Yeah, but if you want to see a fighting series that has a story that's even worse than Blaze Blue, Street Fighter. Street Fighter's story is a goddamn mess. And the only 2D fighter with a worse story is Mortal Kombat. That story is so fucked up they had to reset the timeline to make it make sense.
Now that I think about it, yeah, there's worse game stories than what Blaze Blue and Guilty Gear have. Oh god.
Okay, so the next game is the most insane fighting game I've ever seen before in my life. It's called Fight Crab. And basically you get to play as crabs fighting.
Wait, what?
Yeah, crabs fighting. But here's the thing. The way these crabs fight is that they fight with individual, like you're controlling individual claws, right? So
As in, you got left claw, right claw.
left claw, right claw. So you got to basically control each individual claw differently depending on what they have in their hands. It looks interesting. If it's not a $60 game, I'll probably pick it up. It's coming out July 30th on Steam and sometime in the future for the Switch. And it's being published by Playism and Mastiff. Playism on Steam, Mastiff on the Switch. And its platforms are the Switch and PC. So probably on the Switch they're probably going to use the Joy-Con, so I'll probably get this on the Switch if it's going to use the Joy-Cons for this stupid ass looking shit. Look, there's an episode. There's a picture in here where they got the crabs using lightsabers. One crab is using 2 green lightsabers, and the other one's using one dual-edged red one. I mean, this shit is insane. I'm getting this just because how insane it looks.
Oh man!
They could take some notes from these crabs.
They sold me on how insane this shit looks. I'm gonna put a copy in the chat, and you guys can take a look for yourselves, because I'm like, god damn, this is ridiculous.
I would have to do a double take when you said fighting crabs with individual buttons.
No, you're controlling individual claws. So, like, one controls one claw. I guess one thing controls the other claw. Looks pretty cool. I'll probably get it because it's insane.
I wonder, can ARMS take note of what these crabs are doing?
I don't even want to talk about that game. Look, I'm one of the people who, when ARMS came out, I was not impressed with that game. I played the test trial. I was like, fuck this franchise.
I was saying, as I said, I was hoping that ARMS can take notes from these guys so it could be more interesting.
All right. So the next game is Trails of Cold Steel 4. It's coming to the PS4, the Switch, and PC. It's coming out first to the PS4, and then it's coming to the Switch in 2021. So I would get into this franchise, but the games never go on sale. They're always like $60. Yeah. They're always $60.
I would too, but I'm kind of a cheap.
So it's sure it's a matter of which system you want it for.
No, the thing is that they're always $60. Like even when they're on sale, they're like, it's $49.99. And here's the thing. If they had like a Game of the Year edition that had all the DLC, but not only are these games $60, they have so many fucking microtransactions in the DLC, like $1.99, $2.99, 99 cents. Where like if you tally all that in, even if you get the game for like $39.99, you're gonna be spending like at least almost $100 with all the DLC added to it. So at that point, I'm just like, no, no, no.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it, you know, if you're gonna pick up that game, you definitely want to get a physical copy rather than a digital. Because this is the thing about physical copies, and why in some ways it's better to get physical than digital.
Uh-huh.
Because they're more likely to go on sale than digital. Digital games will stay their usual price forever, whereas physical copies, since they take up, you know, physical space.
Yeah, people got to get them off the shelf. They're like, yeah, we'll take that hit because we got to get this shit out the store. No, I understand that, but my problem is, like I said, is even with all of that, the DLC is digital. So even if you get it, like, oh man, it's $19.99, although you're never going to find this shit $19.99. Even at GameStop, you're not going to find Trails of Cold Steel for $19.99. I think occasionally Good Old Games will sell it for like $29.99. Occasionally it'll go on sale on GOG. But most of the time, even the DLC is just ridiculously overpriced. And there's lots of it.
Trials of Cold Steel's on Good Old Games?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Well, you know what that means, guys. I'm not going to say it here, but...
Trails of Cold Steel is on GOG. Now, of course, you don't get any of the DLC, so... You know.
Is it cosmetic stuff, or is it story stuff?
There's just all types of stuff on there that you might want, but you're not going to get it.
Whatever.
You know. But that's just me. So with that being said, our final game on this list is Samurai Showdown Neo Geo Collection. Coming out digitally July 28th, and summer 2020 it's coming out physically. You might want to save up and wait for the physical version because all types of bennies are coming out for it for the physical version. It's coming out to the PS4 and the Switch. And you're getting a lot of Samurai Showdown games. Like for me, Samurai Showdown is Soul Calibur before Soul Calibur. It's 2D Soul Calibur.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
The physical version is getting you developer interviews and concept art, and each game is playable online. You're getting 7 games, which includes the never-released Samurai Showdown 5 Perfect. And you're getting the game will also receive a collector's edition version, which is even more premium, complete with an art book, music CD, and a non-functional mini Neo Geo cartridge.
Sounds great.
So
was it like $70?
I don't know, man. I'm one of those. I'm like, I don't know if I want to spend that much on a game, but yeah. I like Samurai Showdown. I'll probably just get it digitally because I don't need more shit in my house that I'm just gonna put on a shelf.
Unless you're trying to be a collector, but
I mean, like, I collect retro games, or I don't collect. I have a retro game collection. I have some retro games, and like, when I look at people like, man, I gotta have this game, I gotta have that game. I'm like, okay, look. Calm the fuck down. They also had what's his name, Suda51 troll everybody because he basically had footage of No More Heroes 3 going on while he was talking over the over it while his face was over it, so you couldn't see what was going on. But So I guess No More Heroes 3 is eventually going to get there eventually, so...
No.
Harvest Moon One World just looks kind of cheap. It just doesn't look like... It doesn't look like it has the type of money behind it that previous Harvest Moon games have had behind it. Like, Natsume keeps on going cheap with their Harvest Moon games, and I don't know why. So, we have some comments here from Trusk about his disappointment at New Game Expo Plus. New Game Plus Expo, and he says from Atlas, he says since Koei Tecmo was there, I was expecting a proper Persona Muso / Warriors collaboration to make up for the rare miss known as Persona 5 Scramble, but instead all we ever got from them was Catherine Full Body Game, a game we knew for a while, and that's it. I don't know why anyone's surprised, because I mean, they already came out with Persona 5 Scramble, and apparently that game is doing relatively well, so like, why would they cannibalize that game by releasing another Muso game? That doesn't make sense.
What is Persona 5 Scramble?
Remember when there was that leak and everyone was like, "Oh man, they're gonna bring Persona 5 over to the Switch," and it turned out to be a Muso style Warriors collaboration, and that became Persona 5 Scramble.
Oh.
Yeah. People were mad about that, and then people actually played it and were like, "Oh, it's actually kind of good." It's one of those things where people just want to get pissed off. The next one is from Trusk. He says from Sega. He says same reason since Koei Tecmo was there. I was expecting a Phantasy Star Warriors or Shining Warriors, but they pulled a fast one on us and had one of their subsidiaries do the dirty work. I was looking for a reveal of Thunder Force 7, but they didn't reveal crap. Dude, why do you keep on having such high expectations from these companies?
Yeah.
I mean, Sega had to partner up with Microsoft to bring Phantasy Star Online 3 over. Think about that. Okay? In order for them to bring over an MMO, they had to partner up with Microsoft. Because Microsoft would foot the bill for them to bring it over to the West. Think about that. Okay, do you honestly think they're gonna take a franchise that's been niche for the last few years, Phantasy Star or Shining Force, and make it into a Jewel, wake up, and make it into a Shining Force game? That doesn't make sense. A Warriors game? No. As far as Thunder Force goes, you're getting Darius Collection. It's the arcade version, so next we have from Koei Tecmo. He says he wanted a new Muso Warriors games or the next Ninja Gaiden, but they bailed out and showed us the Gus developed Fairy Tail. I mean, like, Fairy Tail's like, here's the thing. New Games Plus Expo is for Japan, okay? Ninja Gaiden was never popular in Japan. Whereas Fairy Tail is really popular in Japan. Like, I don't know why you think they should cater just to you.
No, this is the modern gamer. They think that they deserve to be catered to.
Okay? They showed a lot of RPGs and life simulators, but those are popular in Japan. So, you know, for the Japanese, this was a great show. For me, I like RPGs, so I'm like, oh, this is interesting. But you know, you're like, well, they should cater it to you. Who the fuck are you? I mean, never mind. I'm not gonna get into it. Next, we go to SNK. I was sure that we get new DLC for SNK Heroines. Yeah, that game did not sell well. I don't know if you didn't know that, but it didn't sell well.
Yeah, that game looked weird too. It wasn't just because it was all female fighters. I do not like the direction that SNK has gone with their games.
I mean, like, I would have rather them just make new characters rather than turn male characters into female versions of themselves. That was just weird.
Yeah. I mean, there's some characters that are kind of off, and then there's some characters that seem to really belong in the game.
You
when you look at it, and it kind of throws things off balance when you look at it.
And everybody and their mother was pissed off about the Terry Bogarts exchange that they had in the game.
I'm like, why didn't you just come up with new characters? Like, that's the thing that I didn't understand. Like, why didn't you just come up with new characters, or just have all female characters? Because there's a lot of female characters in Samurai and under SNK's IPs. They could have just had all SNK special female characters. It would have been a smaller roster, but they could have had like, okay, we not only do we have different like like different female characters, but each character has different styles that they can switch to. So your version of Mai Shiranui might be different from another person's version of Mai Shiranui. So you'd have to like know different movesets. Nah, just we'll do a gender change on these characters.
And that art style or that engine that they use, I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking. Why they completely gave up on 2D.
SNK started to get lazy, and it's cheaper for them to use a widely used engine like Unity or Unreal than to use an in-house engine. I understand that, but whatever. Next we have he wanted a new mystery character revealed for Smash. The only thing they did was reveal a mystery spider for Samurai Showdown Season 2 Pass, which is the Warden, a Ubisoft character. So, you know, his overall comment is whoever arranged the new game plus Expo needs to be fired. Look, listen, I think that these companies are going to show what they want to show. I think some of these companies were under the barrel because they had to show something, and first of all, they had to show something, and also, like, there is, like, Japan is shut down for Corona too. So a lot of people were working from home. All right. What people don't tell you is that working from home is even more hardcore than going in someplace and working.
Oh yeah, because you got so many distractions.
Oh, not just that. It's like you have like for me, it's just like it feels like time moves slower when I work from home. Like when I'm at work, it's like, okay, I give 8.5 hours. You know, you go to lunch, you do your 30 minutes or 45, depending on where you work. When I worked on Capitol Hill, we could take hour-long lunches. That was great. Now it's like, when you work at home, you can't even. You feel kind of bad if you take like an hour-long lunch. It's like, I need a break from this shit. It's like, But
it's kind of the downside of like that, taking online classes instead of taking online classes rather than actually being in a classroom.
Yeah, I guess so. So next we have an announcement from Square Enix. They will announce the games that they would have announced at E3 2020 in July and August. So my question to everyone here, does anyone give a shit?
No, not really.
Okay, moving on.
I'm lost, so...
It's like, does anyone care? So our next thing is for those of us who watched the little digital event they had for Cyberpunk 2077.
And that's my cue to bow out for a bit, because I got nothing on this game. So you boys, have fun.
I'm glad I pre-ordered this game. I got it digitally because I don't have a CD player on my PC, and I don't feel like buying one just for one game.
They're actually selling a disc-based copy?
Yeah, at least I think they are. I don't know.
That's great. I didn't think anybody did that anymore.
Well, I got mine off of Amazon, so to each his own. So, like, basically, I mean, you can... I mean, it's a game. Looks awesome. What do you guys think about it?
Looks pretty good to me. Hopefully it's all right.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Like here's the thing, okay? I am not like, oh my god, this game has to be the best thing ever, period. The reason I think this game I want this game to do well isn't because I think the game itself is good, but I think if the game does well, we can see other tabletop RPG genres get this type of treatment where someone puts some money behind it and makes a good game.
Instead of a bunch of odd and end games
that feel cheap and lazy, or just someone just was trying to do a cash in. Yeah.
Like the 41K games or whatever.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. The Warhammer games. Yeah. Which just feel cheap. I mean, some of them are okay, but they all feel like, yeah, we didn't put the money behind this.
Maybe CD Projekt Red should just do a bunch of, licensed projects of.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't want it to just be them doing it, but if they if CD Projekt Red can show people the way, kind of like Uganda Knuckles, I will show you the way. Then I'm good, Because I remember when Skyrim came out, everyone's like, man, that's like Skyrim has sold 23 million across multiple generations, okay, multiple iterations, multiple console gens. It sold 23 million, okay, multiple platforms. But fundamentally speaking, Skyrim is not a good game.
Yeah.
But it's the best that we had at the time. You know what I mean? And that's my problem with, that's why I look at games, like, the shit that we accepted with Skyrim is unacceptable now. The game, like, you basically walking into a building and the game crashing. The game just basically falling apart on itself because it was so broken. Like, that was unacceptable, and yet we accepted it, because that was the only game in town if you wanted a big epic RPG. That's all we had back then. And I think that CD Projekt Red showed that you can, like, and not just CD Projekt Red, like, because we've had huge games that have, massive scope in terms of the amount of content and shit going on that don't have that level of bugginess. GTA 5, Red Dead Redemption 2, Xenoblade Chronicles X, Breath of the Wild, with The Witcher 3. Like, we have games that are just as large as, or even bigger than Skyrim, and they don't have that level of broken-ass, gameplay. Fundamental broken quests and fundamental bad coding. So, I want to see, okay, if Cyberpunk does well, that means that someone could make potentially a Shadowrun game. Because Shadowrun is basically the same as Cyberpunk, except Shadowrun adds in magic and mythical creatures and magical creatures. So, if this game does well, that means someone else will say, hey man, we can get another, we can get a Shadowrun game. And they've done a Shadowrun reboot, but they were more like the SNES Shadowrun, like tactical Shadowrun game. But I would love to see one that's basically like a first person going around, Shadowrun 2050 Seattle, 2060 Hong Kong, 2070 Japan. That'd be fucking awesome, in my humble opinion. But that'll happen if Cyberpunk comes out, something that's based off of a cyberpunk neo-noir tabletop game and does well. And of course, it's CD Projekt Red, so it's probably going to do well anyway. Plus, it looks really awesome. You can be male or female. You can change your ethnicity. You can make your character into a chick. You can make your character into a dude. There's like a prologue, so they have like an Origins thing going on there. Looks awesome. I can't wait for this game to come out. I'm glad I pre-ordered mine. I got mine digitally, so I'm just gonna get a code, but fuck it, why not?
I almost wondered if you went with the pre-order bonuses.
No, I did not.
Okay.
Um,
All you're just looking forward to is the game.
I pre-ordered mine off of Amazon, and I think the special editions were sold out by the time I went and pre-ordered mine, because that shit gets snapped up quick.
I get you. I was just saying that all you ordered was the game. Did they already sell it that fast?
The special editions did. People really want. Look, people will buy special editions because they can resell them on eBay for money. And I will say this much about CD Projekt Red: their special editions are fairly, they're fairly priced. Oh, they're fairly priced.
Ah.
Like if you go to GOG,
I was just remembering that some pre-orders are pretty interesting, while others are EA worthy.
like if you go to GOG right now, okay, and you go to store, right, and you go to Cyberpunk 2077, you can get like the special edition. What? Oh shit! I don't see this. I don't see the special. Okay, no, that's the Ultimate Rig. So they don't even have the special edition on their own website. But basically, here's what you get in the base game on PC. Okay, you get the soundtrack that comes with the game. You get the Cyberpunk 2020 source book. So if you want to play a Cyberpunk game, boom, right there, baby, you get the source book. A digital booklet with art from the game, desktop and mobile wallpapers. If you buy on GOG, you can be able to print Cyberpunk 2077 posters. You get exclusive digital booklet about the game and an additional set of wallpapers and avatars. Now, here's the thing, though. On GOG.com, it's $59.99. I got mine off of Amazon for $49.99. So I did not pay full price for it because I'm a cheap bastard. I'm a cheap bastard. I feel okay being a cheap bastard. Some people don't like that, but I don't care. So with that being said about Cyberpunk 2077, I guess our final news story is, let me check the, oh yes, other games we're looking forward to this year and why. So, you know, what other games are you looking forward to this year?
That's a bit of a hard choice, since if anything, I haven't been keeping up that much with seeing things coming up the pipeline, but for the games that are out now, as in the first half, some of them have been pretty interesting.
I'm cautiously optimistic about Mario, Paper Mario, and the Origami King.
King, yeah.
But I'm not getting that day one. I'm gonna wait until there's reviews about what's in the game and what's not in the game. If it doesn't have shit that I don't want, then I'm just gonna not buy it.
Yeah, I get you. I'm just saying that if anything, you're already getting harsh on it.
What? I'm not getting harsh. Look.
I was just saying that you're already getting harsh on your part.
Well, here we go.
If this was the first time they had fucked me over, I'd be like, okay. Like if they hadn't done Sticker Star and Color Splash.
We already know they effed up already.
I'd be
I'm just saying
like,
that
you
they're
know,
trying to improve,
I'll give them the benefit
and
of the
they're
doubt, but
trying to improve, and they're going upwards.
they fucked up 3 times now, so I can't be like, well, I give you the benefit of the doubt.
It's
Oh,
one
sorry,
up, and
sorry,
it's
sorry,
one
I
up, and they're trying
miscounted.
to recover.
Twice, they fucked up twice. They fucked up twice, but you know, like here's the thing,
At
you know,
least they're trying to recover
like I said, if you're
from the big F up.
if you're a meth addict, right, and you come to my house and like, I'm trying to get clean, I help you out, and you like basically twice you steal my shit in my house. If you come up to my house the 3rd time, I'm not gonna be like, yeah, come on in. I'll just let it go. You're trying to get better. It's like, yeah, I don't want to have to rebuy all my shit again. You know, I mean,
seriously,
I would be very.
You seriously are being that. Oh, you're seriously holding them on. You're holding on to Sticker Star way too hard there, buddy. I'm telling it right now. I mean, sure they're recovering, and I would be proof. I say that the proof is with Color Splash. So if anything, if they could do the better than Color Splash, then that means that they are on the
but
recovery.
that's a really low bar to jump higher than Sticker Star. Because literally, they could have came out with anything, and it would have been better than Sticker Star. So I don't consider that to be a high. It's like if you have an F in a class and then you get a D. Did you really do that much better? Like seriously, did you really do that much better?
I said it's on the road to recovery. So excuse me for actually saying there's hope.
Yeah, okay. So anyway, yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic about that game, but I'm not getting it day one. I'm not pre-ordering it. I'm gonna wait until I see reviews about the game and what's in and not in the game. If it doesn't have shit that I want, then I'm not gonna buy it. And that's just me. You know, everyone can do their own shit. That's their opinion. It's your money. But me, I've been burnt too often by Intelligent Systems and their Paper Mario games. At this point, it's been twice, so I'm kind of just a little, you know, I can't, you know, I'm not going to give them the benefit of the doubt again. So with that being said, that's one game I'm looking forward to coming out towards the latter half of this year, because we're past the 6. Once that game comes out, we'll be past the 6 month, half the year mark. There's also another game coming out near the end of the month, Destroy All Humans remake. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that game looks pretty decent.
I got that game on PC. Well, actually, I got it on Steam, and I pre-ordered it. So, and I know what some people are going to say. Why are you pre-ordering that game? Because it's a remake of a game that I know is pretty good. So I don't have to be worried about pre-ordering it again. You know, I don't mind pre-ordering when it's good. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that game. I hope it's good, or at least I hope it's at least on par with what we had before. It probably will be on par, if not better, because apparently they're adding little things that were in Destroy All Humans 2, which is a exponentially better game than the first game. The first game is good. Destroy All Humans 2 is better. Like it's really good. So. I like it. So
now I remember which games I was at least curious about. Hope to see on the Switch. Bravely Default 2, an RPG. What was it? Oh yeah, No More Heroes. Wanted to see how that goes. And Samurai Jack.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to No More Heroes, but the thing is that I don't know. Like, I don't know how, I like No More Heroes 1.
Yeah, I was saying that if anything, those are games to keep an eye out on, since they seem pretty since they seem like pretty big hitters.
Yeah, the thing is, I like No More Heroes 1. I think No More Heroes 2 isn't quite as good as No More Heroes 1. Because it tries to do too much and kind of strays away from the core concept of that game. In my opinion. I could be wrong, but, everyone has an opinion. Opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one. Or they should. It'd be awkward if you didn't. So...
Okay, so Curse of the Moon 2 is coming out on the 10th.
Yeah, I tried getting Curse of the Moon 1 on the PC, but for some reason it doesn't like a controller, so I'm gonna have to pick it up on the Switch.
Really? Because I have that game on PC myself, and it works just fine.
That's weird.
Yeah, but games are like that. Like, there's some games that might run well on one console, but then you try to run it on something else, and it just doesn't really do what it's supposed to do. So, it is what it is. But yeah, so,
Yeah.
So with that being said, I guess we can get to any other games you guys are looking forward to coming out this year?
Yeah, I'm set.
All right. I'm looking forward to the new Circle of Seasons game. It's coming out in July. I'll probably get that because I'm a Harvest Moon fanboy. And this is from the studio that had been making Harvest Moons for years until Natsume didn't re-up their contract. So they're making the real Harvest Moon. So with that being said, yeah, I'll probably get that on PC because it's coming to PC. And I'm like, I associate Harvest Moon typically with Nintendo platforms, but I'll play it on anything. Harvest Moon is my Animal Crossing, basically. And finally, unpopular opinions, and then free topics. So who wants to give their unpopular opinion first? Remember, you have 60 seconds to state your unpopular opinion and defend it, and then we discuss it afterwards. Let me get the timer ready. So who has an unpopular opinion first?
Hey, Kenoshi, you got this dice first. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. Actually, I don't have an unpopular opinion.
Okay, I'll go first. My unpopular opinion is this. I think that, and this is about holding companies to a higher standard. We let certain companies get away with shit because, we don't, we kind of let them get away with certain things because that's the best we had at the time, or we make excuses. Case in point, Skyrim. When Skyrim came out, that game was a broken piece of shit. And because the modding community was behind it, they fixed that game. But it's not acceptable for a company to release a game that is so woefully inadequate and for people to be like, well, the modders will fix it. That's not your job as a modder to fix a game that should have been at least should have been of adequate quality when it came out. We need to hold companies to a higher standard, or they will never be better. And that's my unpopular opinion. And I did it in under a minute. So yeah, that's it. You can come at me. You can agree to disagree.
I could agree with you on that. It's just that if anything, it depends on the business. I give you that one with Bethesda. I give you that EA. I give you Activision Blizzard.
No, that measure needs to be applied to everyone equally. It's not a case by case basis.
I know.
If you're Nintendo, I'm going to hold you to a high standard.
It's that if anything, I know. I was just saying that if anything, they usually if they break your heart badly, I would at least say that you hold them especially harder on accounts.
No, the way I look at it is you basically hold everyone to a high standard, so that way it doesn't come across as biased. Because it's very easy for you to be like, okay, well, I like Nintendo, so I'm gonna let them slide on shit. And even I have been guilty of it. I'm like, well, I like Nintendo, I let them slide on certain things. But that's because normally their games, like, even on the harshest critic, their games are like a B. A B, C, like their lower quality games are like a C plus. Like they aren't like, this game is fundamentally fucked. But when you start giving people a pass here, a pass there, they start fucking up. Not all the time, but someone who's actually taught people in a classroom setting, like I've noticed that even the smart kids, like if you start giving them a pass on shit, they start fucking up sometimes. So, you got to hold everyone to a high standard. Because if you don't, they start taking shit for granted. And once people start taking shit for granted, they start acting, they start getting their ass on their shoulders. I mean, look at what happened to Sony with the PS2. Remember, the PS2 was the highest selling system of the 6th gen, so Sony got their ass up on their shoulders, and they came up with the PS3, and they got arrogant. They got really fucking arrogant. And the same thing's happening with the PS5, right? They're getting arrogant again.
I was about to say, if the price is not showing how arrogant they are, then I don't know what is.
No, just the whole philosophy. It's just they're starting to get arrogant again. And like the thing is that you have to hold people accountable. You can't just be like, well, I like them, so I gotta let it go. And so that's my unpopular opinion. You should hold everyone to a high standard, no matter what they're doing. If you're in a class with people who have learning disabilities, well, guess what? Within the standards of their learning abilities, you need to hold them to a high standard. Now, obviously, you're not going to be like, okay, algebra is beyond you, so you have to solve this geometric equation. Clearly, that is not the type of standard I'm talking to. But within their abilities, you have to hold them to a high standard. You can't sit there and say, well, let me dumb this shit down so that they can pass. No. And you can't make shit easy on people just because you like them. And I stand by that statement. I've lived my life like that, and I'm much happier because of it. That's my unpopular opinion. Who else has an unpopular opinion? You get 60 seconds to defend your unpopular opinion, and people can come at you after the 60 seconds. Who wants to go?
I'll go, since if anything, it kind of reminded me of something that I actually want to get off my chest.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, here's the thing. It's one thing to make things targeted to a certain audience, like kids. If you want to make your game understandable to kids, I can understand that. But dumbing down certain aspects in order to say that it's just for kids and this is our target audience, so they should be able to enter to get this easily. And this is especially true of certain franchises. I'm holding on.
Pokemon.
Thank you. Then if anything, try to give them something bigger in order to try to improve on their skills. Don't try to belittle them or look down on them by making something simpler. At least try to grow their expectations. Seriously, this is
your minute is up. Your minute is up. Okay. I understand what you're saying, and I agree with you. I do think that companies shouldn't just dumb shit down to reach
yeah.
To reach shit that has to reach a higher install base. But that's like, here's the thing. That's the constant struggle between games. Like, do you keep a game so niche that it only applies to the core audience, or do you try to open it up? I mean, that's the difference between Street Fighter 3 and Street Fighter 4. Street Fighter 3 is ultra niche. Like, you have to be really well versed in Street Fighter games in order to be good at that game. It's got V-isms and X-isms and like S-isms. Like, it's insane.
They got 3 different kinds of battle bars.
Yeah, well, different. Well, basically, like the V'ism, Xism, and Sism are basically depending on like what type of control scheme you want to use. So if I remember correctly, Sism is like classic Street Fighter. V'ism is like Alpha, and Xism is like Alpha 2. Like it's insane, and that I mean like that's a high bar to entry for the average consumer. Who just wants to get into Street Fighter. And this is a very long draw from Street Fighter 2, which basically Street Fighter 2 is the most easy and pick up and play 2D fighter you can possibly get. Because basically it's really fucking simple. You know? Like it's easy to get into, hard to master. You know, or do you go with Street Fighter 4, which is even dumber and easier to get into than Street Fighter 2. So, you know, and it's slow. It's so fucking slow.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know, it's like it's a harsh thing. It's like, you know, how easy do we make this shit? I mean, you see it in RPGs all the time. You know, like Final Fantasy V was really hardcore in terms of how you could build your party up depending on what jobs they mastered, and like really niche and ultra niche, and like how you could dive into breaking the game with different job abilities stacked to your character and stuff like that. And then they kind of dumbed it down a little bit with Final Fantasy VI, where they got rid of all that. Each character had a set job, but you could augment that with relics and shit like that. And then you get Final Fantasy VII, which is even dumber than Final Fantasy VI.
Which I admit that both Final Fantasy 7 and 6, I enjoyed their battle systems a lot, even if 7 is a derivative of 6.
And then you get 8.
Just a mess.
Yeah, 8, where they try to go hardcore, where it's like, well, you don't even have to learn magic that way. You can just steal magic from enemies. There's an enemy in the very beginning of Final Fantasy VIII that if you basically grind stealing their magic ability, you basically can be OP for the first 2/3 of the fucking game. It's ridiculous. So, I mean, basically what I'm saying is this. It's a constant struggle between should we make this game more casual or appeal to the more core. And everyone has to suffer with it. Nintendo has had to suffer with it. You know, the RPG manufacturers have to suffer with it. It's a tough battle to play, to face. So,
Yeah, which is the reason why I had to rant on about it and try to be sure my thoughts were aiming it right. Because there seems to be a fine line between market appeal and nicheness. You get what I'm saying, right?
I mean, you're right. Some games are just never, even if you appeal to a more casual audience, they're always going to be niche. Like, I mean, I hate to break this to people, but RPGs are always going to be niche. The closest you're going to get to is Final Fantasy VII, but here's the thing. Final Fantasy VII had a $500,000 marketing campaign behind it, and if you adjust for inflation, it's like almost $1 billion at this point. So,
which kind of scares you when you think about it.
I mean, here's the thing. What would have been bad is if that game hadn't sold well and they spent that much money to market it. You know what I mean?
In a sense, I get where you're coming from there.
So Final Fantasy VII not selling, like Final Fantasy VII has never been matched in terms of sales by any game in the Final Fantasy franchise. No Final Fantasy has outsold Final Fantasy VII. And some people would make you think, well, it's sold a lot. I would make the argument that just because something sells a lot doesn't make it good. You know, a lot of cigarettes have sold. That doesn't make cigarettes good. There's a lot of drug addicts. That doesn't make drugs good. You know. So, I mean, I don't think that is a fair argument that a lot of people did something. Like the Wii, the Wii, one of the highest selling Nintendo consoles of all time, I don't necessarily consider a lot of the games on the Wii to be good. Now, here's the thing. There's some games on the Wii that are awesome, and that there's no other...
There's Wii good products, and then there's Wii shovelware.
Well, I
And you
mean,
see play shovelware.
the thing is that the Wii had so many games put on it that the bad games outnumber the good games. So if someone said I'm collecting for the Wii, I would be like, that's gonna be a tough. That's gonna be a tough. If you told me to give you a list of Wii games that you must buy if you're collecting for the Wii, that would be a tough draw because the Wii is kind of like some of those games are just not like you're diving into a sea of shit. With occasionally you get something good in there. But here's the thing: the really good games on the Wii are really good. Like your Red Steel 2s, your Conduit 2s, your Anarchies, your Okamis on the Wii, what's the other one? Your your Twilight Princess on the Wii, your Metroid Prime Trilogy on the Wii, your Smash Brothers Brawl on the Wii, your Mario Kart Wii on the Wii. There's some really good games on the system. Don't get me wrong. Your Wii Sports Resort. There's good games on the system, but there's also a ton of shit. So Kanoshi, do you have an unpopular opinion you would like to get out and then defend in 60 seconds?
Stop using supers or relying on, or should I say, one-button supers at least?
Okay, and
just because usually they use supers if characters or if somebody is losing rather than winning. Yeah.
So it's kind of cheap. It favors the person getting their ass kicked, not the person who's kicking ass. That's what you're saying.
Yeah. Like one of my problems with Soul Calibur 6 is the
supers.
Yeah, the one button super. It's like, a super should be something that you earn.
Something that you earn.
Yeah.
That's true. Or you should be able to turn that shit off. That's my one problem with that game is that it does have supers. I'm like, you think they would have learned their lesson with Soul Calibur 5. Soul Calibur doesn't need supers. All you need for Soul Calibur is just better
counters.
Better moves. Here's the thing: they had better counters in Soul Calibur 2 with blade clashes and parries. That's all you needed. Because a blade clash is if you guarded and pressed forward while someone was attacking, you would basically do a blade clash and interrupt their attack so that their combo was fucked up. Or you could do a blade parry if you guarded and pressed back or to the side, and basically their attack would cause them to go past you, leaving them wide open to a combo of your own. And that's basically all you had to do in order to get out of, in order to have your skill level be higher so that you could, people who were spamming special attacks, that was a great way to get around them from spamming special attacks, was to use a blade clash or a blade parry, because it would stun them for a brief period of time. And then Soul Calibur 3, they kind of kept it, but then they changed it up a little bit. Soul Calibur 4, they got rid of blade clashes and parries. Soul Calibur 5, they had super attacks, which is stupid. I stand by that. Super attacks are dumb. In fighting games, I don't think fighting games should have super attacks. At least serious fighting games shouldn't have super attacks.
Yeah, like anime games, it makes sense because it's.
Now, when I say serious, I mean like something like Street Fighter. I don't think should have super attacks. Like something that people want to play in a tournament style setting should not have super attacks. Smash Brothers, it's a party game, so yeah, super attacks all around. But if you're talking like Soul Calibur, Samurai Showdown, SNK versus whatever Capcom fighting games, there shouldn't be, if you get your ass kicked, you just gonna have to take that ass whooping. Okay, that's just it. You just gonna either you're gonna have to take that ass whooping or learn how to use the gameplay systems to reverse that trend of getting your ass kicked. Because that's how it used to be back in the day. Like, if you were getting your ass kicked in Street Fighter 2 back in the day, you just got your ass kicked. Either you got your ass kicked or you figured out on the fly a strategy to reverse that ass whooping. And that was it. I don't know why they're like, oh, we need to have super moves. It's like, no, you fucking suck at playing this game. But that's just my own personal opinion. So with that being said, everyone has stated their unpopular opinion. We do not have time for viewer-submitted questions, but anything you guys want to bring up before we wrap things up?
I got nothing right now.
Anything you guys want to pimp out? Nothing?
No.
All right. Okay, then. So that's the end of this podcast. You can reach the channel
at Gmail, at Twitter.
That is correct. You can reach the channel at Gmail at Mr. Red Fox BS Buster at gmail.com or at Matthew Wesley at Mr. Red Fox 91, or we have a link to the Discord under the video. So if you would like to be on the Discord, you can click on that and just join. It's open to everyone, but there are rules for the Discord, so don't like just come on there and just be doing weird shit, please. Because that's not cool. Doing weird shit is not cool.
So without further ado, thank you. Rate, comment, share, subscribe. Peace out.